Talia, give me 1 second.
Enough flyers to think about?
Do you want her to handle those programs?
Yeah, do you mind?
Talia, can you handle it?
I'm ready when you are.
Give us 2 minutes.
Yep.
Let me turn off the timer. Rabbi, we'll just make one little change.
We're good. Ready when you are.
Well, this wasn't scheduled as a funeral, but my grandmother used to say never make anyone who's on time late, so let's give it 2 more minutes.
Right here. Yeah, but
No, it's all right. I got another idea.
how far is she?
Go ahead, Rabbi.
Good?
Yes.
Good afternoon, family and friends. Thanks to each and every one of you for being here today as we bid a final farewell to our dear friend Freddie Horwitz. For those of you who didn't have the pleasure of knowing him, a quiet man, a humble man. I think in all the years that I knew him, and I think we both came on at the same time at the early 80s, never saw the man upset, always took care of business, and always liked to leave everybody smile. He'd love to dance, as humble and as shy as he was. When it came to dance at the party, he wasn't there in the middle. And the moral of the story is, Never miss an opportunity to make somebody else smile. Freddie leaves us here today with 2 messages, and then we'll continue with our prayers. Message number 1 is, nobody knows what tomorrow will bring. Enjoy today. Freddie was plagued with illness, never spoke about it, and all through the years, never spoke about himself, but he lived his life about taking care of loved ones. And the second most important message is that we all have to remember today and always, especially as we gather a moment like this and people say, what do I say? And the answer is nothing. Just be there. Because sometimes in life, the biggest support and love that one person can show to another person is just your mere presence. So I want to thank the lieutenant and everybody who put this together, and for the respect that you're showing Freddie here today. Thank you for being here. And the only thing I want to leave you with before we close with the prayers, think of somebody who can use a hug. Think of somebody who can use a smile. Think of somebody who's having a hard time because life is just real hard on the shoulders. Reach out to them and make them smile, because that's exactly what Freddie will do. Thanks to each and every one of you for being here. Let's open up the prayer book, and we're going to start with Psalm 23. I'm going to recite it in Hebrew, and then at the signal of my hand wave, we'll all recite it together. Mismor le David Adonai Roi lo yachzor binos deshe yarbitzeni amei menuchos yenahaleni nafshi yeshoved yancheni b'maglet tzedek leman shemo gam ki elech b'geitz hamaves lo yira ra ki ato imodi shiftecha mishantecha hemi nachmuni taroich lefarna shulchan neged tzoreroi dishanta b'shem roishi koisi ravoyoi ach tov v'chesed yedefuni koi mechayoi v'shafti b'veis Adonai liorech yamim. Amen. The 23rd Psalm, if you have a pamphlet, let's recite it together. Ready? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk in the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they do comfort me. They prepare a table before me in presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall abide in the house of the Lord forever. And we're going to recite the following 2 prayers, our traditional prayers that are recited at memorial services. So the way we're going to do it, I'm going to recite the prayer, and when you hear the hand signal, in unison we'll respond, Amen. Emolei rachamim shochem bamromim amtzei menuchon nechon al kanfei hashchina b'malos kedoshim etoim kerzei rekia mazirin es nishmas Frederick Horwitz shalach li olamo b'gan Eden tehei menuchaso Lachein bala rachamim yastereu b'seisek nafecha liolamim utzror b'tzoach hayim es nishmaso Adonai hu nachlaso v'yanuach b'shalom ha'mishkavo v'nomar Amen. O God, compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence to our beloved Frederick Don Horwitz, who has entered eternity. O God, Master of mercy, let him find refuge in your eternal presence, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of life, God his inheritance. May he rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. And we are now going to recite the final Kaddish, which is at the end of the pamphlet. It's all in Hebrew. So I'll give you the hand signal, and we'll say Amen in unison. Yiskadal v'yiskada shemei rabba. Amen. V'yamad divrach yirusei v'yamlich machusei. V'chayei chon, v'yomei chon, v'chayei d'chol beis Yisrael. Ba'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabba mivarach lalam u'lomei olmayah. Yisbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yisbar, v'yisromam, v'yisnaseh. V'yisadar, v'yisaleh, v'yisalol, shemei v'kucha, barichu. Amen. V'yomot, le'ela min kal b'chasa v'shirasa, tush b'chasa v'nechmasa, damiram b'amav emru.
Amen.
Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim, aleinu, v'al Yisrael v'emru. Amen. Oseh shalom ben mamav, hu yasa shalom aleinu, v'al Yisrael v'emru. Amen. May he who makes peace in his high heaven grant peace on all mankind, and let us say Amen. I'm just going to leave you with one quick story, and that kind of wraps up this whole moment that we feel here today. It was right before the Chicago Marathon, and a cop comes to my office and says, Rabbi, should I run the marathon? I asked him, why do you want to run the marathons? He says, when I finish the marathon, I can drink all the beer I can drink. I said, why don't you want to run the marathon? He says, because I'm 63 years old and I never ran anything in my life. I said, Jimmy, go run the marathon. He ran the marathon. After the marathon, he says, Rabbi, we have to meet. I meet him on the street in a coffee shop, and he's totally overwhelmed with emotion. He's crying, tears down his face. He says, Rabbi, thank you for telling me to run the marathon. I said, why? He says, let me tell you what I learned. He says, as I was running, 2 blocks behind me, there was a guy in a wheelchair who had no legs, but with those improvised wheelchairs that he's putting with his hands. He says, I learned that not all of us are equipped to run the marathon anyway. He says, every time I wanted to stop, I looked behind me and saw this guy in a wheelchair. And I said, if he's pushing, I'm running. He says, not all of us are equipped to run the marathon, run anyway. Not all of us are going to make it to the end, but run anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, let's learn one thing from Freddie. Go out there, live life, and enjoy life. Most important, find something that can make you smile every day and bring laughter to others. Thanks to each and every one of you for being here. May God be with you and bless you. And to Freddie we say, go in peace, rest in peace. But for those of us who knew you, the way you lived your life will be forever etched in our hearts. Amen. Anybody else going to speak? Or anybody else want to say anything?
Okay, when we fall in, we'll just give Fred a final salute. Old school, quiet gentleman, quiet professional, like Rabbi said. Never up or down, just quiet, does his job. So for that, it's all attention. Who's that? Arms. Order dismissed.
Just want to mention for those of you that don't know that was Rabbi Moshe Wolf, who's a police chaplain with CPD. Again, thank you all for coming.
28 hours of doing this, trying to get stressed. We'll talk to you. Please stop by. No, this is Jesse's going to be your point man here. Lead you go.
Let's take the Eisenhower. And take the Eisenhower west.
I had the pleasure of knowing him. What a mention, what a gentleman. God bless you. Thank you for being here. I had the pleasure of knowing him, and literally just got off the plane. I left there 30 hours ago. Very well. You were just so humble, always smiled in his kind way. Never asked for any cover or any honor, just a gentle. So, my card. I was thinking, as long as I'm going, I'm fine. If I ever stop, I'll just sit down. God bless you. I have my card on the other, my name on the other side. My contact information. Anything I can ever help with, that's it. You are welcome. God bless you.
Always a pleasure, Moshe. Thank you so much.
You never showed me the dust.
He said, Moshe pulls out miracles. He goes, what? I called him sometimes, he's out of town, and he just shows up that morning and said, nah, I'm here. No questions.
I'm going to talk him right away.
Oh yeah, you got.
No worries. Hey, Jess.
Brother, God bless you. Thanks for Lord, thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Nice, wasn't it?
Storms again.